Welcome everyone to the Alpha Lambda Delta info session. My name is Eileen Merberg and I'm the Executive Director of Alpha Lambda Delta. We are headquartered in the Rochester, New York area where I am right now. And helping me today is a student member, Carly Barker. Can you introduce yourself?
Hey, I'm Carly Barker. I'm one of the ambassadors. Basically, I'm going to be helping out today.
So can you say a little bit where are you a member?
Okay, I am a member at Arkansas State University, and I am our public relations.
Okay, for your chapter?
Yes, for my chapter.
Right. Okay. Well, as I said, we said in the emails, this is a general info session. Your chapters might be doing their own info sessions, but this is one hosted by the student ambassadors and the ALD headquarters, just to answer questions and tell you a little bit about Alpha Lambda Delta. You're all currently in what we call open invitation groups for your school. You're from all over. One of the first things, speaking of where you're from, is that we do drawings at these we do like 3 or 4, sometimes 5 Amazon gift cards, a random drawing from attendance. And so the way we pick a name, if you want to enter to win, is put your school in chat. So what school are you from? And make sure that I did this the other day and I couldn't find the student's name. So just make sure that it's your name, when you're as you name yourself in Zoom, make sure that that's your name, so that I can find you and find your email if you do win. So if you do want to enter to win in our drawing, put your school name in chat so we get a good idea of where you're from as well. So we're not going to take a long time. Just tell you a little bit about Alpha Lambda Delta, probably answer a lot of questions that I would anticipate you have, because we've heard a lot of the same types of questions. So let's get started. Thanks, everybody. I see lots of Maryland, Purdue, great. They're going too fast. A lot of Purdue and a lot of Maryland, Cincinnati, Texas, Austin, great. Southern California, I think, Texas, Arlington. Good. Okay. So real quickly, we are obviously a National Honor Society. There's a lot of honor societies, probably a lot on your campuses. And a lot of them tend to be major based. You get invited to them when you do really well in your major. But Alpha Lambda Delta is interdisciplinary, so open to all majors. And our niche is first year. And that doesn't mean you're only a member first year, but that your eligibility is based on your first semester. Our mission is to encourage academic achievement, to help you even continue that. Not required that you continue with that GPA that you got, but you're encouraged. So that's sort of our global mission, and we'll talk a little bit more, dig a little bit deeper into that. So we've been around a long time. Next year is our centennial. We're almost 100 years old. Pretty excited about that. We're all over the country. Technically, we have 400 chapters, but about 300 are active. So it ebbs and flows sometimes. We induct about 20,000 students every year. And we are certified. I'm going to talk in a minute about legitimacy. And I know that questions come up like, is this a scam? Like, is this legit? We get that. We hear that. We are legit. We are certified by the Association of College Honor Societies. And we have been since 1938. So they set pretty strict standards for what an honor society is. And I'll talk a bit about that. But at its most basic is 3.5 GPA your first semester. Congrats, because you all did that minimum less in your fall semester, in your first semester. Not an easy thing to do, so great job. We are going to tackle head on the question of funds and fees and dues. Just know, I'll just tease it now by saying that there's the Alpha Lambda Delta national dues are $30, which is pretty low considering what I've seen other honor organizations charge. But you were probably told that your fee was more than that, and that's because for all of you, the chapter is added on an amount at their discretion. So it might be $5, $10, $20, $30, whatever it is. That's all money that stays at the chapter level. And I'll have Carly speak about that in a minute for what that money goes towards. And then I know that there's a couple unique chapters here that also have another honor society attached to them, which is called Phi to Sigma or PES. Some are joint and some you have a choice. For Purdue, it's a joint chapter. So your fee, I think, is 80 or 90 or something because you're getting membership in another honor society. So we won't spend a whole lot of time on that other group. This is really just focused on Alpha, Lambda, Delta. But it applies to all of you. No additional fees. We'll talk more about that. So I'm going to skip over this one because we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about it, but certainly lots of benefits. And again, I will pull you in, Carly, to talk about benefits. And at a minimum, you get a certificate and pin. If you're one of those joint chapters, you get 2 certificates and 2 pins. Carly, can you talk a little bit about Arkansas State's induction ceremony? So the other thing about what's nice is every honor society has an induction ceremony, and it's a really lovely event. You don't have to go. You're not required to attend if you can't make it, but it's really nice. Does Arkansas have one?
Okay, so since I've been a part of ALD, we haven't had one yet, but we are going to be doing one this year for the first time, I guess, in a while, or first time ever. So I'm actually super excited about it, but it's going to be a lot like whenever you go on stage, you get a certificate. It's going to be a really awesome event. So
yeah,
it'll be really cool.
Yeah, and that, as you all can, I'm sure, understand, COVID and the pandemic had really sort of discontinued all in-person ceremonies. So that I know you know that from other events. So a lot of ceremonies were online. Some still are. Some chapters choose to have it on Zoom, but most are going back to in-person. And they're really nice events. Families can come, and you're really honored with, like I said, with a lot of attention and with the certificate and pin that you get. There's often food at the events. So if you have questions about your ceremony, I can answer at the end in particular. Okay, so let's just jump right into what we know are the commonly asked questions or myths or beliefs. The first one, I don't hear this as much anymore because I hope you feel like it's a big deal that you did well. Like, just as I said before, it's not easy to come out of high school for most of you who came straight from high school to your colleges and did really well. Freshman year is notorious for sort of being tough, a tough transition, very different from high school. So it is a big deal. And again, our founding was on the premise of celebrating that. And that's a milestone and something worth, celebrating and recognizing. I think I mentioned this earlier, alluded to it. So a myth is that you have to maintain that. Whatever your GPA was, our minimum is 3.5. It is not true that you have to maintain that. Again, you're going to be encouraged to, and you'll be provided a lot of resources to help you with that. If that's a goal of yours, is to maybe graduate with a cumulative 3.5, that's great. But you don't get kicked out of Alpha Lambda Delta. You don't lose membership in any way if your GPA drops below that. Once you're a member for life, and that nobody can take that away from you. Carly, anything you want to say about the first 2 things, the grades in general and support for maintaining it, how your chapter sort of functions along those lines?
Yes, so especially starting this year, like I said, our chapter is kind of getting back into the swing of things. We're going to have study nights, and we're also going to bring in other teachers, professors around to talk about what we can do to really help with our GPA and help keep our grades up. Awesome.
Great. Good to hear. A huge question, or a common, I guess I should say, question I hear all the time is, you guys are really busy. So you've done really well. So academics are important to you, and you spend a lot of time maybe on academics. Maybe you have a part-time job, a full-time job, internships. You're in intramural sports, or you're on a sports athletic team. Lots of other clubs and organizations. So pretty busy. Today's students, we know, are busy. So I do hear a lot, this is not just one more thing I can't take on. I can't take on one more thing. And what's required, and how many meetings do I have to go to? And the answer is none. So there are no time requirements. Again, encouraged to, there will be events. I know, I can see the chapters that you're in, Cincinnati, Maryland, Purdue, Cal Poly, Trinity, Southern California, Texas, Austin. Yeah, those are active chapters, and they're going to do some things on campus. They're going to be events and fun things and academic things, service projects, meetings, all sorts of things. But you are not going to be required to go to anything. So if you're thinking now you just don't have the time and you don't want to commit to just one more thing, just know that some students just join just to have it on their resume. So Carly, I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about this one. How did you, when you first got invited, did you think that maybe there were some time requirements or commitments to it?
Yes, I really didn't know exactly what it was. My chapter was little to non-existent whenever I first joined. So I was like, there's no way this is real. I thought it was a scam, all of those things. But sorry, could you like say that question again? I think I'm
Yeah,
getting
just time. Like, did you feel also like that it was going to take too much time, and does it take a lot of time? Well, you're involved, like you're
Yes.
an officer. So just know, for everyone here in the audience, not everyone's going to be a chapter officer or leader. You don't have to be, but when you are, it is going to take more time. So go ahead,
Yes,
Carly.
so I do plan our social events for our chapter. So obviously that is going to take up a little bit more time, but that's because I want to do those things. But if you don't want to be, super involved, you don't have to go to all of these different required events. It's really just kind of up to you how involved you want to be and what you want to make out of it.
Yeah, good. The only other thing I'll say about time, and I won't belabor it, is that you might, Alpha Lambda Delta is a lifetime membership. Like you are only invited your first year right now. You're not going to get invited again. Like, the invitation is only based on your fall grades. So now is your chance, but it's a lifetime. So you might not have time right now. You might have a really busy spring semester. You're just packed. But your time's going to change. So next year you might find your life is very different, that maybe you've gotten used to college courses, you're better at learning, you've learned how to learn, you're better at your classes. Maybe your hours drop for work or whatever it is that could change your time commitment. So next year, the year after, your senior year, you might find you have more time that you want to go to events and meetings and events of the chapter. So just know that things could change for you. So enough about time. Let's talk about money, time and money. Why should I have to pay? It's got to be a scam if they charge you money. So obviously not, we think, because every membership organization and every honor society is going to have a membership fee. And that's for a couple reasons. Number one is they're all run by a national organization where you get national benefits that you don't get from any other club you're joining. Fraternities and sororities are very similar. Some club sports, like club sports has equipment they have to buy. So there's a membership fee to join. So membership fees are not red flags, really. They can be very legitimate. So nationally, remember that the fee, and Carly, I'm going to call on you to give some examples, if you could, about expenses for the local chapter, but nationally, you get the certificate, the pin. A couple things I'm going to mention soon is our leadership development program, where we have a certificate series you can opt into and self-paced take leadership courses and be certified as a leader. Career development resources, perks and discounts. I'm going to talk in a minute about our perks program, which is going to save you a lot of money if you use it, and it's going to pay for your fee many times over. So we offer a lot at that national level for $30, lifetime, no reoccurring fees. Remember when I said that anything above 30 is other chapter, that's all money that goes to the chapter or to Phi Sigma if you're a joint chapter. So Carly, do you know what your fee is offhand? Not to put you on the spot, but what's Arkansas State's fee?
Yeah, so ours is about $40. It's really
40.
not that much more expensive than the national fees. I believe it just goes towards a cord, and it's not super expensive either because our university gives us a pretty large budget for first year experience, which goes towards like ALD.
Oh, okay. So that's another, yeah, I didn't know that. That's good. Yeah. So sometimes that extra money above the 30, if it's 10, yeah, that it might get you an honor cord that you can wear at graduation. Sometimes I know Purdue gets a t-shirt. So there's a lot of other things you might get at the local level. And one of the things, Carly, I know, and I don't know if this is the case with Arkansas, but one of the biggest things that I hear they spend the money on, in addition to those items you all get, is food. So there's usually a lot of food at events. So you will make, you'll eat a lot of meals that'll pay for that fee as well. Do you guys have food at your events? There's always food.
Yes. And that is usually covered by that first year experience budget. So our advisor's always like, whatever you guys want.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, nice. Okay. So that's sort of the scoop on the fees. There are fee waivers if somebody was truly in need. Talk to your advisor about that, or they can maybe do a discount. They don't do payment plans, but they could do a discount or a full fee waiver if there was need, but your advisor has to do that. But again, so I guess the question is it worth it? So what's your fee? Is it $40, $50, $60? Whatever it is, do you feel like for a lifetime of benefits, that's worth it to you? And, that's a question for you to answer. Carly, anything you want to say about that? I'm going to assume it was worth it for you because you got involved.
Yes. So again, I really didn't know exactly what all I could do last year to get involved, but my advisor picked me and Zoe that you were talking about, who is also an ambassador now, to go to our national conference. And it really just changed our view over everything. And we were able to see all the amazing benefits that ALD has to offer, like the internships at the national level, the conference internship, the ambassador programs, all of the scholarships available to us. I truly feel like it is definitely worth it.
Good. Yeah. And I can't even believe when I said what the national fee covers that I didn't mention scholarships. Like we give, so we're a nonprofit charitable organization. So the money we charge, that $30, I mean, I'm running a national organization with hundreds of chapters and 20,000 students every year. So we're trying to provide as much as we can to you at the lowest price. But one of the biggest things we offer is scholarship. So, I mean, not everybody gets one, but not as many people apply to them as you'd think. So everybody here, if you do join, make sure you apply to our scholarships. We give out about $211,000 every year, and then chapters give out local scholarships at a tune of another 100,000. I know Southern California, I think you're here. They give out a lot of money in local scholarships. Again, there is no reoccurring fee. That's something to be careful about with other organizations, which is on my next slide, I think, which I can't get to. Let's see. The scam question. I'll get to that in a second. But fraternities and sororities, obviously, we get that a lot. Like, I don't want to join a fraternity or sorority, and you guys sound like one. Back in the day, 200 years ago, all these groups always got Greek names, right? So we sound like a fraternity and sorority, but we're not. So we're very much not a social Greek letter organization, even though we share Greek letters in our name, but that's how it went many years ago. And, I think one of the myths is, because if you do know fraternity and sorority life, you know that when you do join one, that's it for life. You don't join another fraternity. You don't join another sorority. You pick one, they pick you, you pick them, and that's it for life. Not the case with honor organizations, just so you know. And social fraternities, business fraternities, those are all different, and you could join as many as you want of those. Remember, I said your major, once you do well in your major, you're going to get invited to your major's honor society. So look out for that if your chapter or if your school has a chapter. You can join multiple groups. Carly, do you belong to what other organizations do you belong to?
Okay, so besides Alpha Lambda Delta, I am in a sorority. I'm in Alpha Gamma Delta. I'm also involved with our college ministry here. It's called 747. I'm involved in a lot of things, really. I just off the top of my head. I have a sticky note on here. Anyways, there's a few other organizations. Oh, sorry. Volunteer A-State, which is like our volunteer organization on campus. We provide volunteer opportunities to other people on campus. And I also work a lot with our on-campus food pantry. So.
Oh, cool. Yes, you are busy. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, I don't want to belabor the scam thing. We obviously don't think we are one. Again, pretty established. And I can tell you that I'm very familiar with a lot of the other organizations. And unfortunately, there are some sketchy ones out there. I'm not going to name names, especially because I'm recording this. But I'm not going to name specific organizations. But I think the message here is to sort of just do your homework, because I would just be careful about some organizations you might get invited to or already have been invited to. There's a couple things you could look for to sort of see if they are legitimate. Are they certified by ACHS, which I mentioned earlier? We are and have been since 1938. But do they have a presence on campus? Do they have chapters around the country? And are they active and led by students like Carly? Like, do they actually have activities, or is it just a company that wants to get your money? Do they have an actual office, or is it like a PO box in some, post office where they're just collecting checks? Look for that if they have like a home office, and are they governed by a board of directors? Are they a nonprofit charitable organization? Do they have, the last thing I'll mention for scam organizations is, do they even have academic criteria? That's something to look for. We're very, very strict with our standards. But I know a few organizations just do blanket emails to millions of college students to give you this honor of being invited, but nobody's checking grades. There was nobody looking. You met the high grade standards because you were invited if you got one. But talk to your friends who might have a, lower GPA, they got invited to. Carly, did you get invited to other sketchy organizations when you were a freshman?
Yes, I don't even remember what they were, but I got invited to a few other ones that definitely did not seem legitimate.
How did you know what made you think Alpha Lambda Delta was?
I
I mean, at
researched
first it
it.
wasn't.
I went to the national website and I was like, okay, this is real.
Okay, yeah. I mean, that's basically it. Just do your homework. Google everybody, look them up, see what comes up for you. I don't think you'll find scam next to Alpha Lambda Delta, and if you do, let me know, because I'd like to know. We've talked about this. You don't have to get involved. You don't have to go to anything. So, well, then what benefit do you get if you don't get involved? So, because you do get, I think Carly could probably attest, you get a little bit added benefit if you do get involved. If you go to events, obviously you're learning something, or you're winning some prize at some event, or having food at an event. Like, there's an advantage to going to something. But if you don't, if you straight up just like never go to any event, it's still, I think, worth it, because it's a line in your resume. You're all probably going to have a section on your resume for awards and recognitions. Maybe that's a category, and Alpha Lambda Delta could be one on that list, or maybe the first one on that list of many. We're known, because we've been around so long. I've talked with employers who, when they see it on the resume, it's going to mean something to them. So it has benefits even if you don't go to anything. And the last one on this slide is a common question. Your membership follows you. So wherever you go, it's not tied to your university. So it's, once you join, it's your membership. If you transfer to a school that has another chapter of ALD, let us know and we can connect you to that chapter, or you'll find them, or just let us know so we can change your record at the national office. And then if you go somewhere without a chapter, you would be added to what we call our national chapter. This is only if you let us know this. You can be added to our national chapter just to stay in the loop about things. And maybe you can help us start a chapter at your university where we don't have one, because we're always looking to expand. Okay, Carly, anything you want to say? This is from our website. I just screenshot our website just to show some of the quick overview of some of the key benefits nationally. Anything you want to say on these, Carly? I'm not sure if you're familiar with any of the three.
I've definitely applied for a scholarship already. I applied for the TRO undergraduate, just to help with financial assistance, obviously. So there is a few other options that I'm sure you could talk on more. But besides these three benefits, you also get that sense of community from joining. So that's another really great thing I've found through my chapter.
Awesome. That's great. Yeah. So I mentioned the leadership program. That's a certificate series. You could be nationally certified leader. Self-paced, you could take the next 4 years. Like, there's no time limit. It's not like you have to do it. And it's not a huge time commitment. But that's just a unique benefit. And then I mentioned that perks. This is a unique Alpha Lambda Delta thing. You opt into it. It's an app on your phone. It's going to offer like literally 300,000 perks and discounts on pizza and local restaurants and oil changes and health and wellness products, movie tickets, like discounts and free stuff that pays for itself, pays for your membership fee, I think many times over if you use it. It's called ALD Perks. Comes with membership, but part of your membership. We offer a lot of career development stuff, trying to connect alumni who've done well based on majors. We've got a lot of webinars we do on that. This is a unique benefit. This is legit. Like you actually get, if you ever work for the federal government and show that you're an Alpha Lambda Delta, you're automatically upgraded. Instead of starting at a GS5, you start at a GS7, which is more pay. And then we talked about the resume piece. What kinds of service activities does your chapter participate in, Carly? Do they do community service in the neighborhood, or what's that look like?
Yeah, so a lot of our stuff does correlate with our on-campus food pantry. I feel like that's our biggest service project that a lot of our registered organizations help with. So just last week, our Alpha Lambda chapter helped clean and reorganize our food pantry.
Oh, good. Okay. So yeah, all sorts of different things. We offer a theme every year, and this year's theme is refugees. And last year it was food insecurities. Year before was sustainability or animals or something. So we just do a theme every year. Okay, so just a couple quick specific things, and then we'll wrap it up and answer any questions you have. Back to leadership, and leadership's not for everybody. Like you might not have an interest in, I mean, I would strongly encourage you to, for any career you're going into, having enhanced leadership skills can really help you. So we do offer a summit that is free for everybody who joins. It's once a semester. The next one is Sunday, April 23rd. So keep on the lookout for that if you do join. And then Carly mentioned our conference. So we do an in-person conference once a year. I'm going to be honest, in all transparency, not every student can go to this. Like it does tend to be the ones a little bit more involved. So this might not be your thing, but I'm going to mention it anyway. It's a different city every year. You meet students from all over the country. Carly, anything you want? Last year it was Tampa, Florida. It's always in October. Anything you want to say about the conference?
Yeah, it was actually really awesome to get to go and meet other people from different chapters. I didn't really know exactly what it would be like, but it was really awesome to just connect with other people, utilize different ideas that we could take back to our own chapters.
Yeah, good. That's exactly what we're hoping. We've talked a little bit about campus involvement. Again, you don't have to, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities. Service, academic support, how to, there might be a session that your chapter does on scholarships, like not just ALD scholarships, but you guys are high achieving students and you are exactly what a lot of scholarship funders are looking for. And I can tell you from experience that there's a lot of scholarships out there, national scholarships that for students that people don't know about and they don't apply to. So you have really good chances at winning a lot of money. So that might be a program your chapter puts on, is how to write a good essay and how to ask for a good letter of reference. Like there could be things going on that really help you. Fun activities, service activities, all sorts of things. It's not just for your first year. Just remember that it's a lifetime, but also particularly for your 4 years of college or 3.5 that you have left. There's opportunities to do things next year, the year after. We have senior incentives. If you do maintain a 3.5, you get another certificate. There's a senior book award. And then, of course, honor cords at graduation are always very, very popular. A lot of students like to wear the honor cord at graduation. If you want to get a bit of a taste of really what ALD is all about, I suggest you follow us. We're mostly on Instagram. We really don't do a whole lot on Facebook anymore. A little bit on LinkedIn. We do have a YouTube channel where we post a lot of our leadership videos, but we're most active on Instagram, and we're actually, I think, like 1 or 2 away from 5,000 followers. So we're pretty excited about that. So after this session, I might see that we've exceeded 5,000, which we hope. So check us out on Instagram. The last thing is just for logistics, if you're wondering about timing, every chapter is different. So some of you had deadlines coming up. I know for Purdue, today is the day, what we call the close date to join in order to get a certificate in time for your ceremony. It's not the drop dead deadline. You can still join after today, but you may not have the certificate in time for the ceremony. Anyway, everybody's different. Every chapter's different. If you're wondering when your deadlines are, I have the deadlines pulled up on my other screen here if you want to ask. But just check out your invitations that you received through email. Okay, Carly, anything more? And then if anybody has questions, you can unmute yourself or put it in chat. I'll hang out for a bit, but Carly, anything more you want to add about? I've talked a lot, probably way too much. Let's hear the student voice again.
Yeah, again, I would just highly encourage you to do your own research. As I said, look at all the benefits on our national website. Check out our Instagram. I know I really enjoy looking at social media. So looking at what all ALD is doing in other chapters as well, because they do repost what other people are doing. And yeah.